I could say
that. You can if you want. Good morning, everyone. Hey, we're at a different view. I'm on my couch. I'm in my living room. I'm with a very sick Martha. She's coming down with something. So send her some prayers and some love. She is not feeling too good. Oh, you guys don't want to see my blanket. I'm actually cold. So I'm basically sitting on my couch, ready to show you guys how to put beads on a cross stitch. So you can dupe out some of the colors in it and use a bead of your choice. I'm using a gold line bead. So let me open up. This is my project bag that you guys know I've made all of these. And that's one of my little needle minders. This was sent to me by a friend a long time ago. It's actually upside down.
Way to go.
Oops. Oopsies. So inside my project bag, I'm going to show you what I have. I have a pouch.
Oh, a pouch. How cute.
Yeah, these were the ones I made for that binder. Well, I shortened it. I cut it down and I ended up making it with a zigzag stitch and a straight stitch. So you see what I did here? Because it was too long and I wanted it to fit in my project bag. I have my eyeglass case that I made yesterday. So I have
like that material.
Yeah, it's pretty, eh? I have my pair of little snips for this project. So I have my little cutters because you're going to need those. And also I have
a magic wand.
This here is a free pattern. And the link for this pattern is below the video. So go to Chelsea's site and you can download this pattern for free. Now, I didn't understand these colors. So all I did is went in my stash and picked out colors that sort of match this. So the word blessed is this kind of like a soft color. Well, I'm not going to use that. I also have this, which is one of the 7x7 design boards to put my floss on while I'm working on it. So it's not flying all over the house. So I'll usually just sit that on the table there. Now, I don't need anything here. Now, what I have here is a tea-dyed Aida cloth. This was pure white this morning. So what I did is I took this and I took some tea and I tea stained this Aida cloth just to give it that, really pretty look. You see it?
Yeah.
I got really heavy in some spots. And then I starched it and I dried it all with my iron. So it's good and dried. And it's nice and stiff back to the way it is. I double zigzagged all around the edges because Aida cloth has a big tendency to fray really, really badly. So this here doesn't have that. Now this pattern here is over, I believe there's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 56 stitches across and it's by 10, 20, 31 stitches down. So it's not a really big, huge cross stitch. It's actually quite small. So we're going to just kind of center it here. And the reason I want to do that is because I'm going to turn this into a pillow and I'm just going to add a backing to it. And I'll show you guys how to do that when we get this cross stitch finished. Now, these are some of the supplies I use. Of course, I got eyeglass cleaner here. These are Life brand lens cleaning wipes. These are size 12 beading needles, and I'm going to need those for these tiny beads that came. Now, these are not your everyday normal beads that you buy from Beadaholic or anything like this. These are Mill Hill beads.
I've got lots of them.
Yes. And I like these beads. These ones are a gold line bead, and that's going to replace the color on the word blessed. So we're going to do the whole entire blessed in beads, and then we're going to use our floss. Now, originally, I chose this color, to do the word blessed. And then I thought, no, why don't I make it with beads? So that's what we're going to do. Now, these are just colors I chose out of my stash because I don't know what their color means. So I just went and looked for colors that were similar to what they had in the diagram. So for this, the steamed broccoli, which is that one there, I chose this green here, and that is color number 909 in a DMC.
Yeah, if you're doing a cross stitch and you don't like the colors they use, you can always switch out to what colors you like.
Yeah, and I have done that because some of the colors are so ugly, or they're so close in color. They're saying, like, some of my ones I've done, and it's telling me to use another color. It's just because you need that little tiny shade different. I tend not to change those because that's how you get that shaded effect. So I do. Right. Don't be changing colors like that. That is very close in proximity. It's there for a reason. Okay, so for the chopped chives, I chose this green, and this is color number 367, and it is different than this green. So we have two shades of green. They kind of look the same in the camera, but believe me, they're not.
And they are all DMC.
Yes. And then for the cocoa, it's called cocoa bean. This almost matches perfectly in color. So this is color 869 in DMC. And I chose a nice bright yellow, of course, because I want it to be a nice bright sunflower. And this is color number...
I like that yellow.
307. Yeah, it is a nice one. And then, of course, last but not least, we have black, which we just have to fill in a couple of little areas in here with black, and that is color number 310. All right, so this one here, I chose not to use, but if you don't have beads, this is color number 422, which is very similar to the color that they've got on their chart, sort of. This one is very pale, so I'm not going to use that one. Anyway, so these are the beads that we're going to start with. And I'm just going to start with my blessed, and I'm just going to use, oh, shoot.
Do you have enough beads?
Well, I could use Fireline, but I really don't want to because it'll pull tight. So what I'm going to do is use this to put my beads on. Now, I also have thimblelettes, and I have some wax and I have a clip because I'll show you what I use the clip for. So let's get started here. I'm going to show you how to do this mounted cross stitch. I'm going to put my stuff back in my bag that I'm not using. I will need this needle. And I'm only going to use one strand of the... So I like to use these thimblelettes on my middle finger. So these are sticky, and I usually push my needle through with this finger. So, and these are reusable.
I don't think I have any of them.
Oh, they're pretty awesome. You need to get some. When you're constantly, like if you're constantly pushing a needle through, you eventually end up with calluses there. So I don't want calluses. So I'm going to just grab my glasses here. Tiana, she is bugging Tia, the little witch. Okay. So I am going to put my thing down here because I'm going to be holding my cross stitch up close. Good morning, Shatika.
Good morning.
We're going to use a pair of scissors. I'm going to put those on my design board with my needles, with my thread, with my beads, and get rid of all the stuff that we're not going to be using. So we don't need this. So I'm just going to put this behind me, and we're going to get started with the, I'm going to start over here because I like working from the left to the right. It's just the way I've been doing cross stitching for a long time. I usually just stand my pattern up. I don't have my stand right now, but I usually just stand it up against my coffee cup. And anyways, I have a size 26 tapestry beading needle or embroidery needle. Now this doesn't have a super sharp point, and I like that for Aida cloth because when you're going through the holes here, when you're going through the holes, this doesn't have a tendency to split your threads between all of your stitching.
It's easier to find the holes.
Yes.
The pointier the needle, the more it catches on all the threads.
Yes, this has little tiny threads that are inside each one of these little boxes. And if you use a sharp pointed needle, which I'm going to be using shortly because that's the needle I have to use for the beads, it has a tendency to want to snag all the little threads, and then there you are having to back out and go start all over again. So I've done that umpteen times. So for now, I'm not going to be using this one. Actually, maybe I will start with the sunflower. This way, I can get kind of a center. So the sunflower is not quite centered. So it's a couple of, so this goes 11 rows. This goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows this way. So what we'll do is we'll divide our Aida cloth in half, and we'll get our center. Just kind of mark it right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 11 rows over. I'm going to start with my very center here. So I'll start right up here, and I will cross stitch right there. I will start right up here. So I'm going to show you here. I'm going to be starting right here. Right there. And when I get to this one, I'll cross stitch that one. But for now, I'm going to start here. And where my center is, I'm going to go 1 stitch over. Oh, nice, Shakita. Okay, so let's get our yellow. Now, this is how I do this. Now, I take off. You take off what you're comfortable with. I take off because I start with a loop. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to take off, I don't know, a good 36 inches because that's going to be split in half. So I want to work with basically a nice long piece. So there's my length. It's about 36 plus inches. So we're going to snip it off. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your see here how these will spread apart. Just wait a second and I'll show you. You can fan this out and spread your threads. So, but you only want to grab one thread at a time, and that's all I use is one thread. So we're going to do this. So there's 6 strands here. So pinch this off, grab this one, pinch it with your fingernails, and just pull. Pull one thread out. So you can see how long my thread is. Okay, so there we go. This one's good. So what I usually do is, because I cut it off this way, and this is now considered a used strand, I wrap it this way. And actually, what is even better, I'll show you another trick, because look at these nice big holes we've got. So what you do is you take your strand that you've got opened, find both your ends, without knotting it, of course. Find both your ends, like so. Pull it like that, stretch it right out. Go to this end here, there. Fold it in half again. Make sure you got it nice and even. And then find that very little loop there. Put that through the hole. And this will keep your thread from tangling. Open up your loops. Pull your thread through. And now you have your loose end hanging off. So you could just pull your thread off, and that's the one I'm working with. So now we've got a 1-piece strand. Now I need to get a beading needle out. Oh no, we're not beading. Okay, so what I like to do is take both of my ends, because I got 1 piece, just 1 strand here. That's all I'm using. And I'm going to put them together. And I am going to thread, pinch it between my fingers, grab this, and thread this needle, which takes a little bit of time to learn it.
Finesse. It takes a little finesse.
Takes a little finesse. Sometimes it's just as easy to fold it like that and pinch it really tight between your fingers where it's almost invisible, and then master this way. Okay, and there we go. So you want to thread, if you're going to do the loop way, you want to thread both your raw edges. So when you get to this end here, you only have a loop. Okay.
Good morning, Jamal.
Good morning, Jamal. Okay, so here we decided we are going to, I'm going to come down, I don't know, I left a lot of room on this. So this is basically where my center is right here. All right. This is where my center is. So I want to start one row over. So I'm just going to put my needle in from behind, and I'm going to come down a few rows here. And I'm going to start on the hole, or the square beside my fold here. And I'm just going to bring my thread up, but don't pull it all the way through. See, it's still there at the back. Hold on to it for a second. And then you make your first cross, which Ada cloth is beautiful for this. You're going to go straight across into the next hole like so. See, I'm just going across. Now I'm still holding my tail. So there's one little tiny half stitch. Now you're going to go in behind, and you're going to loop your needle through this loop, and you're going to pull that tight, and now your thread is secured.
Not real tight.
No, don't ever pull your cross stitch tight. Now, according to my pattern here, I need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches across. Okay, so up here, there's 5 stitches. So I stitch in hand. So I'm going to bring, I don't use a hoop. Some people do use hoops. I don't use a hoop, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our needle up in this corner one here. See it where it is? If you can see that. And we're going to bring that up. Now, there's no reason why I need to go to the back of my work anymore for now. So let me just show you what I do with this clip. So all I do is take my Ada cloth and fold it, and fold it, and fold it, and fold it. And you're going to see why I fold it. And then put a clip on it up there. Over on this side, I usually just roll this just to keep it kind of out of my way. But the way I like to work, I'm going to put this down here because it's going to be in my way at top there. I put my index finger on top of my work, my middle finger under my work. This is how I do this. Okay, so instead of going in, back out, or back in, back through the back, in, back, we're going to take a full stitch, full half stitch. So there we go, our thing is taut. Now you're going to go to the next stitch over. See, my needle doesn't have a point on it, so I love that. So I can poke it through, and I could feel it hitting my middle finger. So my middle finger is going to guide this needle. So what it's going to do is you always got to push your thread out of the way. Don't ever snag your thread in this. So I'm just going to bring my needle through like that. Can't really see it. There we go. See?
Yeah, if you stay close to the camera, we can see better.
All right. And then we're going to just pull it through, and there's our second half stitch. You're going to go over to the next one and you're going to do the same thing. I'm using my finger as a guide behind to push that needle to where I need it to go. And there's 3 stitches. And this pattern, we have to do 5. So up top here, there's an extra stitch up there. So what I'm going to do is go like so. Oops, I just mucked up my thing from here. I felt my thing do it, my thimble. Oh, for crying out loud. Yeah, I really made it mucked up. There we go. Okay, so I got to fix my threads because you can see what I did. Actually, I'm going to take this thimble off because this needle is not as sharp. And I'm also going to quickly run my thread through this conditioner so it doesn't tangle as much. So this is how we're going to fix this.
Morning, Nan.
Good morning, Nan. I'm going to bring my needle right back down to my work and pull my thread straight again because it was very mucked up. And then I'm just going to run it quickly through this thread conditioner.
I have never used conditioner on my threads.
No?
No.
Well, it really helps with the fuzzies on the floss, and it helps prevent a lot of knots. So I'm going to run this one more time without trying to pull it on my work. Just going to pull it through, get it good and waxed. And it does really help get rid of the fuzzies that are on these threads. Okay, so that's good. Pull my fingers through this like so and pull off all that extra wax you don't need.
The warmth of your fingers help melt it into the thread.
Yeah, and you could see where my stitching got a little pulled. So I'm going to loosen that back up because I don't want my stitches all different in size. Okay, so I think my needle and thread are back to normal and good. So now we're going to carry on and do our next stitch. So we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to do 5. So in that hole, out this hole, and look, it doesn't break a whole bunch of threads. And that's that one. So now what we're going to do is we're going to
bring it closer to the camera.
I can't get it any closer.
Well, that's good right there.
Yeah, but then I can't see and I can't work on it.
Oh, poor girl.
Yeah, so you're going to go in the hole. Now I'm going to work my way back and finish off all my stitches, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my needle in this hole here, and I'm going to guide it with my finger, and I'm going to go straight back down in the next one over.
Your top stitch always goes from bottom right to upper left.
In reality, it doesn't really matter which way you go, but once you start your stitching, you have to stay consistent and go in that direction. So if you want to go from the bottom right to the left first and then cross over this way, that's fine. But just make sure you do that throughout every single stitch. You can't have some going this way, some going that way. And there's some artists will do that, but it's for some kind of, I don't know what you would call it. But anyway, so now we've completed this one here. We're going to just jump over to the next top one corner right beside there. And we're going to go straight down into that next hole. See it where I'm at? And we're just going to finish off this stitch. And this is going to be annoying for me because I'm so close. I cannot see what I'm doing. All right, let's try that. Into the next hole. Down like so. And pull. Not too tight. Into the next hole. And down. My dog is very sick. She's going to the vet at 3:20 today. She's got bronchitis. Okay, so you can see
So take it
four.
for abstract cross stitch.
Yes, it's for abstract cross stitch. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my needle straight down, and I'm not going to go through anything. I'm going to pull it through to the back, and then I'm going to find my way right above that third stitch so I can do this one little itty bitty one right here. Okay? Oh my goodness. So I'm going to come up into that third stitch. Boy, my dog is very, very congested. Poor girl.
Yeah. Poor Tia.
Yeah. So this one here, I'm going to just finish out my cross stitch by going in here like so. So I'm going to put one yellow stitch right above there. And now I need to travel 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches over. And that's the most I will ever travel is 4 stitches. So what I'm going to do is take this needle and I'm going to count. I'm on this row here. I need to be 4 stitches over on this row below. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry, no. 4 from that one. So 4 from here. So you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to be in this hole right there. You see where I need to be? In that row. So what I'm going to do is make that mark. I'm going to take my needle and I'm just going to go on a slant and I'm going to come right back up in that hole where I need to be. Okay? We're going to do that.
Rika said prayers up for your dog. Hope feel better.
Yeah, she's really, really not feeling well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stitch here. I'm going to make full stitch because I got to drop into the row below. So what I'm basically going to do now is in behind here, you can see where I did this. So what you want to do is if you can't catch it,
Oh, crap.
You want to kind of stitch in behind that one. So make sure you catch it. And it's not catching for me. So what I'm going to do, put my needle in, pull it through, and then I'm going to go over top of that to secure it, and then I'm going to come back up like so. Now, the next row, we have to drop 1 stitch right below over. And then we got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stitches across. So we're going to just get in our corner there because we want to finish this. And then we're just going to drop our needle in the row below and 1 over. So it goes like that. So that's what I have so far. See? And you see where my thread's coming out? The row below and 1 over. All right. So now we're just going to go across and do half stitches. And how many did I say I needed? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have to do 11. So here it goes. Pull that so it's not snagging on it. Oops. Come here. And then you're going to go in that hole, and just start doing 11 half stitches. There's 1. There's 2. So I'm going to do the sunflower 3, and then I'll do the blessed. Because then I'll have to do some counting so I can get that first stitch where I need it to be. There's 4, 5, 6, And don't pull your thread tight. 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we're going to be doing it like that. So there's my 11 half stitches. You see that? Now we're going to work our way back. So we're coming out at the bottom. We're going to go across to the top and just go straight down back into that hole. You have to share these holes with these cross stitches. So we're just going straight down, and we're going to finish off that cross stitch there, like so. And then you're just going to work your way back, doing all of these and keeping your thread very consistent in tension. If you don't, you're going to have wonky looking, and this is a famous knot for cross stitch. Just take your needle, pull it out. There's 3. This was a white piece of Aida cloth. I cut it off the brand new Aida cloth I just got. I cut a piece off. And when you're doing cross stitch, you really always want to cut your fabric bigger, like 3 inches bigger than your cross stitch. That gives you a lot of play, that if you make a mistake, you don't have to rip it all out if you're a little bit too much to the left, too much to the right, you know, those kinds of things. All right, so when we get to the next row, I'll show you how to get there. So the next row is actually identical to the first row, okay? Or this row here. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your needle in the top hole, and you're going to drop, you're not going to go in this hole. You're going to drop down to the next row and go into that hole, like so. And then you're going to pull your thread. So there is completed 11 cross stitches, and all my cross stitches are laying flat, and that beeswax really helps. It really and truly helps. Okay, so now we just have to repeat this and do 11 stitches. So remember, you're sharing the corners, always sharing the corners when your cross stitches are super close together. You share them. And if your Aida cloth is stiff, believe me, it softens up in your hand when you're working with it. Oopsies, not sure what I did there. So this is a mistake. I got to pull it out and pull my needle off and just pull it out. And in order to get it out of, oh, I see what I did. I went between. Okay. That was a boo-boo. So let's rethread our needle.
Hey, boo-boo.
It was a boo-boo. Very much so.
Give me a picnic basket.
All right. Fixed. So we're going to go here and here. Not sure what I did or how I took that other stitch. Here. There. But like I said, keep your stitches consistent. If you're going to take your first one to the right, make sure you do them all the same. Oops. So there should be 11 stitches across here because I've just repeated the row above. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my needle. I'm going to go back down in here. And I want to go up and finish this up here because there is a stitch up here that I need to do. So I'm just going to travel to this corner here. And I'm going to finish off this cross stitch here while I'm at this side. And I don't have to do a whole lot of traveling. So now I'm just going to go right straight back down and complete that cross stitch. And that one is now done in there. You see? You see that? Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl.
Let's work our way back now. Going back into those same holes.
Good morning.
In the other direction. How sore is your throat, Martha? Because it sounds horsey.
It's all right.
At least you don't have that cough.
Yeah. It about killed me last night.
I bet. Oh, we are, Cheryl. How are you? Okay, so the next row, we're going to be skipping some holes or skipping some squares or whatever you want to call these little blocks. We do have to skip some for our additional colors that we have to put in here. In there and out there. Really easy to do this with a magnifying glass. I am looking through a magnifying glass and my camera is sitting on top of my magnifying glass. Blessed be the best. Yes, ma'am, it sure is the truth. And I thought this is a perfect fall kind of color to do. Okay, so we've done that row and that row. Now we're on to the next row. So we just have to drop one row down and do 3 stitches and skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to show you how I travel when I'm traveling over 5 stitches. So we're going to drop down 1 row, same block, but 1 row below. So now we're going to do 3 stitches.
Morning, Linda.
Morning, Linda. I don't mind to skip 2 to 3 stitches. I just don't like to skip 5. And just, hi, Linda, good morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my needle and bring it to the back of my work. So there's my 3 stitches. Now I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to travel in behind stitches here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll travel behind, just pick up a little bit of the threads in behind. Like I won't go in every stitch. I'll go in every second stitch, just in behind it. Because you do not want big, long threads, believe me, on the back of your work. So just travel in behind like so. Okay. And now we're going to come up on the 5th stitch. We have to skip right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have to go into the next. And we should have 3 stitches left. So here we go. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to be coming up in that right there. And I just pulled it out. Start that again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm skipping 5 blocks. Coming up here. And then we're going to do 3 stitches. Where's the hole? That one right there. And that one. That one was tricky to see. So there's 1. This is 14 count Ada, Cheryl. And I tea stained it this morning. It was pure white. So you can see I gave it a nice little tea stain, and I restarched it too. So it's nice. I love this. I love the tea stain. It makes it look really vintagey. Okay, so same thing, travel back, do our 3 stitches. 1, 2, whoops, stupid little hair, and 3. We're going to go in behind our work because we're skipping over a ton of stitches there. If it was 3, I would just definitely go. So I'm going to go the row above because I do not want to put a whole bunch of thickness in that row. And we're just going to go on the row above. And
yeah, the more you go behind, it makes your stitches on the front
tighter. Yeah, sure does. So just go on the row above. I ran this way and I'm running back this way. And now I'm going to come up right there where I need to be and carry on with my stitches. And then you could see at the back, I don't have, see this long string here? That's a big no-no. I don't like to do that, and I don't know why I did that. Tiana, can I have my legs back? Okay. She's laying on my legs. I'm just laying comfortably on my couch, sitting here comfortably. I told Jeff last night that I need a lounge chair that leans back, and I could just sit and cross-stitch on it. Yeah. So anyways, let's carry on. So finish this one out. This one. And now let's go see where we have to go next. So there's the start. You can basically see the sunflower now, and it's centered properly. So now we are on the row here. So we need to go down. See, I don't mind skipping over these stitches. Now, when we get here into this bigger spot, like now we're going to be skipping here, I am just going to work these rows to here till I get to this row, and then I'll come over here. I'll reattach my thread and come over here because I have nowhere to travel now on the back of my work. You see, there's going to just be a big gap here. So you don't want to put any threads in there because when you go to put your threads through and there's threads lying across that open space, they have a tendency to come up with the needle.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so you don't want to do that. So like I said, I don't mind going down and over 2 stitches. So we're going to just take our needle and go over 2 stitches. So we're counting backwards 2 stitches over in that bottom hole of your block. Nope, I went in the wrong hole. So I missed it. I got to go down 1 more. I need to be in the next row down. Oopsies. And that's where I need to be. See where we are? We are over 2. So 1, 2, and down 1. Okay. So now we're going to pretend what we're going to do is, where is my thing?
Morning, Negan.
Hi, Negan. What we're going to do is we're only going to stitch up to these where these go in, okay? When we get down to this here row, we'll go straight across and finish off the rest of this cross stitch. But then we have to reattach our thread up here and carry on and finish this off, okay? So right now, what we need to do, according to this row, we have to make 4 stitches and then we'll start another color. So we will make 4 stitches. And we'll finish off the 4 stitches. Okay, so we're going to go up. We're going to go down. So there's 1. Oopsies. Tiki. You should be a happy birdie. There's 2. Sometimes you kind of have to move the thread above away just so you can get back in your hole. There's 3. Like I see it, just move the thread out of the way. and there's 4. So that completes that one. So we're going to travel back now. There's 1. There's 2. So I'm just going in the same holes. I'm keeping my work all consistent. Now, before I take that last stitch, I'm going to look on my pattern and see where I got to go next. So in the next one, we have to go the row below, and this time only do 3 stitches. So we're not counting over anywhere. We're just going 1 row below, directly below that stitch there. So this is where you need to be. Okay, see it? Now you're going to take 3 stitches and do 3 stitches on this row. And it goes much faster. So just push that out of the way. Try not to, you know what? I have a tendency sometimes to split my threads and go between the red threads. Don't do that because it makes a mess of it. It makes a mess of your stitch. So there's 3. Now we're going to just go right back where we just came from. So this one here is going to share 1, 2, 3, 4 loops out of this one hole right here. That's how this cross stitching works. So try to push all the threads out of the way. Don't snag them with your needle. And make your stitch. That one's sharing 4. Make your stitch. Now before we take our last stitch, let's go see where we have to go next. So now we're going to go 1 over and the row below. And then we're going to still do 4. So we're going to go 1 over. So I'm going to go on a diagonal like that.
Morning, so.
Hi, Tracy. Good morning. And you're going to go like that. So this one here wants us to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to do 4 stitches now. But we should be lined up evenly with this one. So if you don't have 4 stitches and you're not lined up with that last row you just did, then you miscounted. So push your thread up out of the way and go reclaim that hole. And that's why you need to keep your thread nice and consistent and flat. So you can just push those threads out of the way and go into that hole again and share the same hole. Push that out of the way, and there we go. So there's my 4 stitches. They're halves. And now we're going to finish them. Now we're just going to reclaim these holes and go through them again. There's 1. And this goes way faster than poking it through the back. I always had problems trying to find that damn hole. That's what took me the longest, to be honest. All right. So before we take our last stitch, before we finish it off, let's go see where we have to go next. So next we need to go 1 row down and 1 row over to finish off that part there. So we're just going to do the same thing. From there, we're going to go on a diagonal, 1 row down and 1 row over. And then we're going to pull that up. And now we should have...
Oh, Cheryl.
What?
She lost her connection.
Oh, no.
Ribbons, paper, and lace. Good morning.
Good morning, Ribbons, Paper, and Lace. Welcome back, Cheryl. I'm glad you found your way back. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete the sunflower, and then we're going to start with the beads. And we're going to, just so you all know, if that came in later, is this is a free pattern, and it's in my description box below, the link to go to Chelsea's website, or it's her blog. And you got to download the pattern, and it's absolutely free, by Priscilla and Chelsea. I'm going to be doing the whole word blessed in these little tiny 11-0 seed beads from Mill Hill Beads. And I have another package in case I run out. So I'm not worried about running out of beads because I know I have a lot. Back now. That's what happens when I walk around the church. get too far from the modem. Oh dear. Yeah, you get too far from it. So I'm going to show you how I add thread if I'm in the middle of a work, or if I have, oops, that snagged the next hole down. Okay, so we're lined up here. So this is starting to look like the sunflower, right? Can you see that okay? It's starting to take its shape. It'll even fill in more once we get some of the darker colors in there in the center. So let's finish off this one. So we have 5 stitches to complete. 2.
Yeah, it's actually a shortcut, so.
3. What is?
The way you're cross stitching.
Yes, this is actually called Stitch in Hand. It's quite popular, and back, actually, to be honest, this is the only way they used to cross stitch, because there was no such thing as embroidery hoops or anything like that back in the day. They held their cross stitching in their hand and they sewed like that. And then somebody invented all these cross stitch hoops. People were using cross stitch hoops, and I personally do not like them. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you take your fabric, especially linen, when you're stretching that fabric over top of, a hoop, you're literally distorting the fabric. And you could say, no, you're not. But, in order for you to cross stitch in and out, back and forth, you need your fabric to be extremely taut. Well, I found that once I took it off of the ring or off the Q-snap, it was distorted. And the only way to get that back is to wash it and shrink it back and then press it all back out. But I can't be bothered to do that. Okay, so carry on. We did our 5. So now what we have to do is we're going to decrease and go back down to 4 stitches. So what I'm going to do is go on an angle diagonal that way. And I'm going to not go into the stitch below on what I'm in now. I'm going to go into the next stitch over, and then I'm going to complete that out. And now I only have to make 4 across here. So you're going to carry on with your stitching this way. 1.
Ribbon says she loves cross stitch.
Oh, I'm glad. Well, please go get this pattern. It was meant to be for a fall pattern, sort of, because of the sunflowers, and sunflowers are very much a fall theme. So yeah, I love it. So there we go. I hold the Aida cloth in my hand. I hate hoops. Hoops are mainly good for other embroidery or working on larger piece of cross stitch on a stand. I totally agree with you, Ribbons. I totally agree. And I'm telling you, when this is all said and done, my Aida cloth is not going to be distorted in any way, shape, or form. But if I was to stretch these holes out, honestly, it's more time. It's very time consuming to have to poke your needle down and then bring your needle back up, but you got to find that hole. So that to me in itself is so annoying. So yeah, oopsies, look at this. I went in the wrong hole because I was talking too much. So I brought it down in the middle. And one day we'll learn how to do half. Some patterns call for half, and some patterns call for quarter stitches. And a quarter stitch is basically a quarter of the square. So it's just it's not something I like doing, but my pattern for my queens that I'm making, they all have quarter stitches all over the place and back stitching like crazy. So all right, so that's how you rethread your needle. Go in the right hole this time. See, I went in a hole where I would take a quarter stitch. That's where I put the needle. So that was a boo-boo. So now go in the right spot. And there we go. We're back to normal. And it's very easy to pull your stitching out. Take your thread off your needle and just use the blunt part of your needle and just go underneath the threads and lift them to pull them off. I had to rip out a big section of my work last night. Yeah, it is. It honestly, Tracy, is so much faster once you get the knack of doing this. It's not okay. I don't know, Martha, you can, oh, she's not at her desk, but this is not something you're just going to learn to do overnight. You have to get the feel of how to hold your fabric, how to roll it, how it snags. So I kind of just roll it up like this, but I keep it separated in the back with this finger. And I don't know, I just try to do it that way. I've got my middle finger back here guiding my needle and separating these two fabrics so I don't poke through both layers. And this one here, I just like to hold it. I kind of stretch it with my finger and my thumb. If I can't see the hole very good, I just stretch it out. But usually with Aida cloth, you shouldn't have too much of an issue of seeing the holes. Well, depending on the size of Aida cloth, of course, but I like the 14 count. And I like it because it makes your piece bigger than what. So if the actual pattern called for linen, I'm going to tell you, linen stitches are super, super tiny. So, and I've been working on that right now. It's so much better to learn from than painted pattern Aida cloth. You have more control and can understand that. Yes, I do. I do agree, Ribbons. I don't like those.
I don't like the printed ones neither.
Not one bit. And lots of times the color blends in with the next color, and it's like, am I supposed to take a stitch there? Or, it's too hard to understand. Okay, so we drop down. We're here now. We got my little pointer here, my scissors. We dropped down and did this one here. We did this row here. Now we need to drop down and do only 3 in this next row, so we got to go back on a diagonal. So we're actually going from this corner right straight down to this corner. Sorry, from here to here is where you're going to take a stitch. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going from here. We're going to decrease by 1, and we're going to go into that hole there. On the next
we were doing a hangout last night, and some of the girls were bringing out their cross stitches that have been done.
Oh, neat.
Neekin
Oh,
has some beautiful ones that her relatives have made. Her grandmother, correct?
I really want to find the pattern of the one with those. They look like Spanish dancers with the gazebo. Oh my God.
No, so it's not. Anyway, they were asking me, it's like, Martha, where's your cross stitch? And it's like, well, I've only got one. Well, guess what? I forgot. I did a sweatshirt with chickadees. It's a snowy scene.
Oh.
I forgot all about that. And I put Monty's on it, and I did little snowflakes down the arms and a couple on the back of the shirt. I love doing shirts.
Yeah. Okay, so the next row, you're going to go straight below that one, and now you're going to go in and do 4 stitches. So which means you should have a nice row of straight, even stitches, and now you're going to bring it back out or indent it by 1. So I'm going into the stitch right below.
Oh, it's Gracie. Gracie is ribbons, paper, and lace. Oh,
Gracie. Hey, girl.
Oh, good to see
love
you.
The name, Ribbons, Papers, and Lace. I love that name.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
She says, I have also worked on fine cotton linen doing a counted blue willow cross stitch. It took me a good 6 months.
Yeah, some of the linen really can take.
Hi, Lynn. Good morning.
Good morning, Lynn. All right, so
Gracie,
going to
you little sneaky devil, you.
4 stitches. So see how I'm going to be in line with this one. So just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count on your pattern to make sure you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're starting to line these up. So we'll finish this row out. Go back this way and finish out our cross stitch.
Holly Mae says, good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Holly Mae. Are you feeling better, Martha? Because you're sounding different. You're sounding better.
Well, my throat is not up to par.
And maybe you're just...
My left side of my face is on fire.
You're coming down with something. Okay, so this next row here, we're going to be skipping one and going into the second one. So skip one column, go into the second column. So what you're going to do is you're going to go from this point here all the way down, skipping a whole diagonal, a whole box, and coming up in that one. Okay? So we're going to go on a diagonal. I just turned my work. Hopefully you can see this. I just turned my work, and we need to be, let me look again. 1, 2. So we need to skip that one and that one, and we need to come up in that one right there. So I'm skipping the one below where I'm in. I'm skipping the next one, and I'm coming up in the next one because that's where I need to put, and that finishes off the cross stitch in that row there. So now in this one here, you should be able to do 3 and going past this one here that you just finished. So let's see if it works. My thread's getting short. So push the threads out of the way. There's 1. There's 2. And yep, I am 1 block or 1 section past where now it's really starting to take its shape. All right. So my thread is getting really too short to work with. It's going to start pulling off of the needle. So I'm going to end my thread, and I'm going to end it in behind my work. And I'm going to show you how I do that. So I should have went straight to the back. So I'm just going to put my needle back in that hole. Okay, so I'm going to turn this around. Okay. And I'm just going to run my needle back through 3 stitches. It's only 3 stitches I take. So I'm going to run it through 3 stitches. Okay. If I can get it through. Remember, this doesn't have a point, so it's not easy. So I've ran it back through 3 stitches. Now what I do is I split the thread, and I just take 1, 2 more stitches by splitting the threads at the back with my needle and pulling it through. Oh, that came right out. I went into the same loop. So we don't want to do that. I don't want it to come out. There we go. And then we're just going to cut that off like so. And I have a little garbage can here, but it's on that table. Okay, so there's my back. You want to kind of keep your back as nice and neat. Don't ever do this. Don't ever skip that many stitches. That was kind of dumb. I should have ran my threads in behind it up. But anyway, you get the gist of it. And that's what it looks like on the front. How cute is that? Okay, so
not
now,
only that, if you run your stitch across like she does and you put stuffing in it, you will see the thread through your little holes.
yes. So now we're going to just pull off 1 more strand.
Gracie is recovering from a mild heart attack. She is getting better.
Really sorry about that, Grace. I'm glad you're getting better. Okay. So we're just pulling off 1 strand. And then you just let it go and it just pops right back out. And then I'm going to fold this back up. And I'm going to put it back on my thing. I like to keep my floss neat and tidy because it can just tangle on you in a heartbeat. All right, so I just fold it like so. Put it through the holes here.
Always wondered what that hole was for.
Yep, it's to put your extra strands.
That's a good idea.
Yep, and there you just let your skin, it comes off very easily. So
you don't need no other fancy tools to do that?
No, you certainly don't. Okay, so take your two raw edges and put them together because this is two strands. You're supposed to be using two strands. Most cross stitch, all of it's usually two strands, but back stitching is mainly one strand. So we're just going to thread our needle. So I'm going to pull this nice and tight, put it between my fingers like so, and I'm going to just loop it with my, oops, I missed. There we go. And then I'll fold it over a little bit. So on this end here, you should have a loop. And now we could just rejoin our cross stitch without making a big mess. So all I have is a loop here. So where I left off here, I did 3 stitches. So I left off with these 3. So now we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 again. We're going to finish off this part and then we're going to come back, tie it off, and come back in there. So we're just going to come up in that exact same row, but in the row below. So I'm just going to bring my needle up into here, holding that tail. Don't pull your tail all the way through. Leave your tail there for a minute. Okay, and then drop your needle back down. So just as if you're making a half stitch, pull it down. So you've made your half stitch, flip your work over, pull it through until your tail comes a little shorter because your thread will tangle, and just loop it. And now your thread is secure at the back. You don't need to pull that tight because it ain't going nowhere. And then you just bring your needle back up and carry on as if you didn't even run out of thread. So there's 1. We have to do 11 stitches. There's 2. And it should line up with the one you did on the top row. So the 11 you did here should be the exact same down here. If it's not, then somehow you got off count and miscounted and something happened to your counting. I keep banging my camera. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whoopsie. 9, 10, and 11. So here is where you're going to check to make sure your thing's lined up. So you ended up here on this row up here. Just drag your needle down like this and look where we are. Exactly in line with this one here. And now you're just going to work your way back. Tiki, you're being kookaroos. Two. Oops, 3. Oopsies. Whoa. Almost pulled my thread off. I hate that. I should have put some conditioner on my thread, but I didn't. And it's starting to get more and more tangly. So what I do is I just push all those little tangles off my thread because I hate knots. And that's another
why I say whenever you pull back, always make sure you're twisting your needle to keep your threads.
Yeah, and I found when I was used to do cross stitching with a hoop, with a Q-snap, I used to go and do my row and I'd be like, geez, my thread got short really fast. I must have been working real hard. Turn it around and in the back is a big, huge knot.
Yeah, I've done that many times.
Oh my God. And it had to stay there or I had to rip all that stitching out. And 9 times out of 10, I just left it. I just said, screw it, I'm not pulling all that out. So I would take my thread, weave it in, and flatten it somehow so that it never came undone, you know? So,
Yeah, pull that loop down and connect it somewhere.
yep, pull it down tight and connect it. At least, at least this way, if you get a knot, you're getting it in the front. You will see it. Okay, so before we go in to our next one, let's go check. We've completed this row here. Now we're going to start this row here. But instead of going in here, I'm going to drop down and I'm going to complete this one first. So I'm going to go down 2 rows over 1 row. So let's go down 2 rows right there, but I need to go over 1 row. So I'm going to put my needle and go over 1 row. And then I'm going to take that stitch and I'm actually going to finish it. So, and then I'm just going to take my needle, go this way, turn my work, and come back up where I need to be, right
What?
here in this loop.
Poor baby girl.
So I'm going right back. I want to finish this out because I don't want to have to go back into that. So that stitch is done. So I'm still doing my stitch in hand. Fold this over because it gets snagged all the time. Okay. And now we're up 1 row and we're back underneath where we should be. And that's how you do that. That's kind of like what you would call a sneak in stitch. But see, we need to complete these 4 stitches. And that one's done. And then I don't have to skip a whole bunch of stitches because you can see back there, it's only like a 2 stitch skip there. Yeah, that's true too, Gracie. All right, so I think we need to do exactly 11 stitches. So there's 2. Let me just look at my pattern. Yep, so we're just basically repeating this row here. Okay? Just doing it all over, just completely do another row identical to the one above. And what I did with the tea stain on this is I wet the tea bag in coffee. So I made a coffee, actually old coffee. I used old coffee grinds. And I took the tea bag and wet it, and then I put it on top, like I put this on my countertop, this Aida cloth, and I took the tea bag with a spoon and I squished it in all kinds of places. Well, it kind of sunk in there and made those spots darker than the others. And then I took it and ran it under cold water, and it didn't look dark enough to me, so I did it all over again and mashed it in several places, the tea bag again. And that's where you see the darker effects here on this. See all these dark ones? That's where I mashed the tea bag with a spoon. And it worked. Like, I think you can just kind of dye this with whatever color you want. You can do all kinds of things with your Aida cloth. And then I just re-starched it to make it stiff again and dried the whole thing with an iron. So, all right, so we're at this end here. So now we're going to go back and complete this. Then we're going to flip around. We're going to skip a few stitches, but we're not going to skip 1, 2, 3. We could skip 3 stitches. It's just 4 and more. I would trace back through your stitching behind your work to do a large amount of skipping instead of just running your thread in behind. almost done with the yellow part of the sunflower. So I'm not going to be able to take my needle and go on a diagonal. I can try, but I usually just poke it through and come up in the third stitch over, as if I was cross stitching in a hoop. Okay, so here's the end. So I just go straight down. And now I need to go the row below by skipping 1, 2, 3 stitches, and I need to come up in that hole here. Okay. So there's 3 stitches here, and there's 1, 2, 3 stitches there. And now we're just going to stitch 5 stitches. Turning my needle. That's something you got to do a lot of, is turning your needle to keep your thread from twisting. There's 3. There's 4. And there's 5. Now, I'm over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop back down. I'm going to go through there. And I'm going to stay on this very row that I'm on. And I'm going to skip over 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do that last corner one while I'm over here. So sometimes, like when you're stitching like this, you want to always pay attention to where your next stitch is going to be. So now I could just take my needle, go straight across, and go right back where I was, skipping all those 3 and behind like that. And now that cross stitch is done. Okay. And now we'll just carry on, finish these few stitches here. And I'm telling you guys, this is the fastest way to cross stitch. Once you get the knack of this, it's the bomb. I wouldn't go any other way. Now, before I take my last stitch, I'm going to go count, see where I got to go next. I got to go down in the middle, and that's it. We're going to tie off. We got 1 left to do. So I'm going to bring that through at the back, come down in between here, skipping over 2 stitches. I want to be right in the center of those 5. So we're going to take our last stitch here, like so. Come back up, go back down, and go straight in. And there is our last stitch of the sunflower part. So flip it over now, and now you're going to run. You're going to run through your stitches at the back. I always take 3. I always run through 3. I go this way, and then I always take 1 stitch going right back through this, splitting it. And that way,
Says, I like this, Ruby. I'm going to give it a try the way you are sewing. I'll rewatch this video while I give it a try.
Good girl.
You'll like it.
Yes, you will. You'll find it goes way quicker. Okay, so now
cross stitch is fun. You can make so many beautiful things.
And the thing is when you get like a little bit done like this, you already start to see beautiness. So it's like, wow, this is really pretty. Okay, so this is where we left off on our pattern. So we need to go back up now and finish the other part. So we left off right here. If I could show you, try to put it here. We left off right here. Okay, we skipped over those 5 stitches by traveling behind these ones. but we did not travel behind here to skip that. So we need to be what in the middle of these three here, we need to be one row below and in the middle. So what I'm going to do is, this is how I attach my thread, because I no longer have a loop and I'm not going to garbage this thread. You want to still use it. So what you're going to do, sorry, is you're going to come back this way. You're going to go in the first row, second row, up above where you're traveling. And you're going to take a couple stitches. If I could get this fat needle through it. And you're going to pull that loop in there and just hold it with your finger. And then you're going to carry that loop through and split it. See how I'm split through the threads? Now I'm going to pull my loop in, hold it, and I'm going to tighten that right up. So now I'm just going to travel this way because I have to be going in this direction. So I'll travel in this bottom row because this is where I need to be. So I'll just put my thread down in there. And now I'm going to come up right here in the middle of these three stitches in the row below. So when you look behind your work, my thread is in there and it's secured. It ain't going anywhere. Okay. So on this one here, we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. So here we go with doing 4 stitches. We're just going to carry on as if we didn't even skip this part at all. So there's one. And something snagged in my way here. I want to remove that. Oh, I see what I did. It's all right. As long as it's not coming up through the hole. That's all I care about. So we're going to do 2. Shit. I always fold that over because I hate how it snags. 3. And 4. And then we're just going to go back now. Finish off our cross stitches. There's 1 complete. 2. 3. And before I take my last stitch, I always shove my needle in here and it goes to my pattern. So we done our 4. Now we got to drop down 1 row below and 1 row over. So we're going to go right below it, but 1 row over. So on a diagonal. So we're coming up in the second stitch in the center. And then we're going to do 3, I think. Yep, we're just going to do 3 stitches. So there's our 1. There's our 2. And there's our 3. Okay, travel back. Now this stitching here, I think is called the Danish stitch. Doing it this way. Doing your half stitches and then going back and completing it. That's called a Danish stitch. All right, now the next one is we're going to go the very same column, just 1 row below. So just take your needle and drop in the next row below. And now we're going to do 4 stitches. And you can kind of mirror across. If you go directly across, you could see 3, 3, 4, and 4. So I kind of snagged my thread right there. So now we're going to do 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I like to pull up my 8 cloth. And now I'm going to complete these. 1, And I believe I'm going to still be in the same row. I don't even have to look at my pattern. I just look right across, go down, and now I got to do 5 stitches. Because I'm just doing, oopsies, I skipped a whole stitch. Don't do that. That's easy to do. I just crossed over 2 stitches. And you will see any mistake you make, you will clearly see it. Believe me. Come on, pudgy fingers. Yeah, I just skipped over one. Like, I still have 2 stitches here. I went straight across to the last one, which is easily done. So now we'll go to the row below. And now we're going to do 5 stitches. And this goes quite fast. So, you know, if I wasn't sitting here on a video, I would have this sunflower done by now. So that's how quick it goes. And Aida cloth even makes it quicker because it's got bigger holes. You could see it better. Linen, I hate linen. I won't even ever use linen again. It's too hard to see the holes at my age. I mean, the magnifier helps, but there's such tiny, tiny stitches too. And that's 2 over 2. So you're going 2 holes over 2 holes to make a cross stitch in a linen fabric. And I believe I'm using 25 count. That's very tiny. Okay, before I finish now for sure, we are going to go same row and we're only going to do 4 stitches. So you don't even have, whoops, you don't even have to reference your pattern. Just look straight across. See? And now we're going to do 4. Oh, really? I didn't know that, Gracie. That's a good tip. I got lots of tailor's chalk, that's for sure. Okay. Now we're going to cross over. It's just so fast. It's like you begin to see exactly where your needle goes almost without even have to look at your Aida cloth. Okay, so we just done the 4. And now we're going to go 1 row below and we're going to do 3. And we're still in the same column. Come on. Twist my thread. Okay, so you can see all my stitches are staying consistent. See? And now we're going to do 3 stitches. You want to try and keep the back of your work as neat as possible and not a lot of threads hanging because you decided to go skip across all these and go do this. You don't want to do that. I promise you. And I'm telling you from experience, you don't want to do that. All right, so 3 stitches. Count. Why does this not look right?
Tailor's wax. She said you can also use tailor's wax, sometimes used in embroidery for threading as well. I've never heard of a tailor's wax.
No, I haven't either. Tailor's chalk, yes.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so now we're on to moving our needle to the next row and next column over because we're going to do 4 stitches, but we need to line up on this side. So let's do that. So here's 1 stitch. There's 2 stitches. Wait till you guys see the beads on this. Oh my God. And doing the whole outline of it in beads.
That's what I'm waiting for. Hurry up, hurry up.
I'm trying to finish this quick, but I need something to work off of. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you've got a
Yeah, you know exactly.
counting.
Yes, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So basically, what I'm saying is this sunflower is my foundation. In reality, it is my foundation because this is going to tell me if I've centered it properly or if I just screwed it up. So we're going one row down and one more over.
But you all notice she didn't start in the middle of the cross stitch. She just started at the top.
Right. So I have a lot of room here, and I'm going to have a lot of room on the bottom because, like I said, this is skinnier than it is wider. This is, I forget now, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 2, 4, 56 stitches wide by 10, 20, 31 inches down. So I have plenty of room. Like I've got a big hunk here. But
Yeah.
what I want to do with this in the end is I'm going to be making this into a pillow when it's all done. Like this yellow is so pretty. It's just so bright. So yeah. Okay, so here we are taking our final 3 stitches of our sunflower. And we're going to tie off our thread. And then I'm going to start with the center. And now before I finish off that stitch, I'm going to drop it straight to the back of my work. I'm going to look it over, make sure I didn't skip any or miss any, and the sunflower there in the outside part of it is complete.
Good morning, Clint.
Hey, Clint. So now you're going to go through your work, go behind your stitches. Don't be afraid to pick up some of that thread at the back. Again, I go through 3 stitches, but I have a really dull needle, so it doesn't go under these threads all that easy. Okay, I go in that last one, I make a loop, and I split my thread, and I tie it off, and that's it. And then I cut it off, and I know damn well that that's never going to come undone. And there's the little piece I wasted. I'm not going to even keep that. So that is, hi Sandy, that is my sunflower. Now when
Hey,
I
Sandy.
up my work, let me just, you can see the sunflower is not in the middle, but it's also not in the middle of the pattern either. See, it's a little bit off to the side, and that's exactly what I did with this. It isn't going to matter if you cut yourself a big enough piece, but you can see it's not perfectly in the center, and that's where it's supposed to be. Okay, so the next one is a little brown with a cross. So you go down here, and that's cocoa bean. So now we need to get some cocoa bean. So we're going to take some of this color here, and then we're going to pull it off, and I'm going to wrap it the same way. I don't know if these plastic ones have holes in them. I know the cardboard ones do. And you can see I'm not one for, holy shit, this one's really long. I think I screwed up. We're going to cut this one in half because this is way too long. Don't ask me what I was doing with this. God only knows. This is long enough. Okay, so I'm going to cut this in half. Okay, and I'm going to pull one thread out of one strand. I just want one strand of thread. Okay, and now I'm going to take these and fix my little knot right there that I just created. It's just, don't pull. If you see a knot forming, don't pull it. You'll regret it. Just be very gentle with it, and it always comes out. Okay, so there's my end here. you're getting tangled up in there. Stay out of there. Okay. Bring my loop two ends together. See, this was definitely long enough. Okay. And where's the brown? Is there a hole in there? Oh, there is. Good, a nice big hole. And I'm going to try to shove this through. There we go. Kind of made this a little too small, but that's okay. Just make sure you open up all your loops.
I'm going to say that's a lot of thread to put through there.
It worked. Okay, I think we just made this a wee bit too short. So let's do it this way. Get rid of that fuzz bowl. There we go. Open up all your loops. Pull it nice and taut. And there we go. Now, we just need one little strand because we don't have all that much stitching to do. So some of this thread's going to go to waste. And that's the thing too, you're going to waste a lot of thread because, because you can.
I know some people that keep the tiniest pieces of thread. It's like, why?
Why? Who would? I don't even want to attach it. It's not even worth attaching it.
Right.
Unless you're just doing 1 or 2 stitches, then yeah.
Embroidery floss is not that expensive.
No, I buy it from 1, 2, 3 stitch for 60 cents a skein, and that's DMC.
I don't even know how much they are in the stores anymore. I used to get them at like Joann's when they had them like 10 for $1.
Yeah. I don't know how much they are anymore.
Me neither.
Okay. So I'm going to take a little break because I got to get up my feet. My legs are starting to cramp. But I'm going to start right in the corner over here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to just join my thread. So we're going to come up right here in this hole here. And this is how you're going to attach your thread. Don't pull it all the way through. Hold it at the back. Put your needle down in the next corner. See where we are? Put it down. Holding it. Don't let it go. Don't pull it. And then pull it through down a bit. And then stick your needle in there and loop it. So you can secure your thread perfectly. So that's where we're going to take our first stitch. Now I'm going to roll this back up because I just find it's a lot easier. And I'm going to put a little clip in. I don't know why I have this big ass clip. She's laughing about that. Normally I use my little clips. When I get up, I'm going to go get a little clip because I don't like the big ass clips. So we're going to just do this. And I'm getting up. Oh my
God. To figure out how to get out without knocking everything over.
Yeah. Whew. There's nothing in my way, really. No, really.
I'm hungry, I think.
You can see my beautiful work. I am going to go get smaller clips because that is redonkulous.
Yeah, that's too big of a clip.
Yes. And I'm actually going to warm up my coffee. So the sun keeps...
Intermission, people. It's intermission.
The sun keeps coming and the sun keeps going.
Make you let's see, everybody get a mocha latte like so.
Well, Martha, just count. How many more stitches till we do the beads? All the middle of that is all I have left to do.
Let's see, 1, 2,
sorry.
3. Well, hold it still.
And these ones here. So we got the middle, these 2 pieces, and then I have something to work off of.
Yeah, so she's got about 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, about 70 stitches. Blah, 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 blah.
70 stitches. That's a
lot. I was teasing.
Oh.
I was going to say at least about 63.
Well, 63 sounds pretty good, mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
you know.
Are you ever going to shut up? No? I hear you. Pete.
Tiki, tiki. Oh, yes. And today is Crystal Castle's birthday. And lucky for her, she's working.
Come on. Okay, you don't want it. You're coming in. Come on. Let's go get a treat.
Oh, I need something to eat. I guess it might just have to be a PB&J.
A PB&J?
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep your strength up and eat, Martha.
No, I feel like eating and taking a nap.
No naps.
Yep, I gotta take a nap.
You can't leave me. You
Get
wanted to
this.
see the beads.
Well, yeah. Or I
So-
like to cheat and cross stitch. I look at what I have done, then if there is a word to do underneath or the top, I start in the middle letter and line it up with whatever stitch above and start from there. Yeah, that's a good idea too.
Well,
Yeah.
get to see Tiki, I think. I don't know. I'm just trying to get myself comfortable that I can not keep smashing into this thing. Okay. So here we need to do every second one. So I'm going to put my needle back up. I'm going to skip one hole and go into the next hole because we're going to do every second one. So I'm going to go here on a diagonal and come out of that hole there.
Yeah, well, to make a mocha latte, you must have a cappuccino machine.
Yeah, how nice. I think if I bought Jeff one of those for Christmas, I think he would love a latte machine. I forgot to get clips. Actually, hang on. I'll grab my other cross stitch. And my little clips are in this bag, my other project bag. And I have little clips in here, which I work with. Somewhere in here. Here's one. We'll use the little one. And this is what I've got done so far on this one. Is this much. And I've decided, because Martha talked me into it, I'm going to remove these black stitches and I'm going to put all beads in these pink ones here. And I'm going to outline all of this in beads. Now I'm going to get beads from my stash because I'm going to need a lot of beads because I still have this section to do one more time. And when this is done, this is going to be a cross stitch pillow, but in a quilt block. Isn't this cute? And I think, yeah, so I got to take all the black off. And that's not a big deal because all I do to remove that is I take my scissors and I just lift my scissors under the first stitch and snip the black off. That's how easy it is to remove all your stitching. And then you just go along with a dull needle and pluck all the threads out. So that is going to be super pretty. And I will work on this and show you guys this as I progress on it. But I wanted to try something different. So that's why I wanted the project bags, because it's kind of nice to switch from this project and go do another project. So that's what I'm doing, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so now we've got a nice little clip. Thank God for that. Those big ones are stupid. Okay, we are getting tangled here severely. So I'm going to just quickly run my thread through this conditioner. I can't stand it when it tangles. So I'm pulling my needle off that. And I run it through one more time, very carefully. There we go. And then I'm just going to remove the excess wax. And now it's nice, and look at all the fuzzies are gone. No fuzzies. It's nice and easy to work with. And less likely to tangle on you too. And it threads easier. And you will get some wax residue on the eye of your needle. Just pick it off. It's not a big deal. Okay. Now, here we go. So this is the easy stitching, is going back. So in that hole on a diagonal, skipping over that one stitch. And that one stitch there is going to be black. I guess it's the sunflower seeds. Okay. So let's check and see where we need to go. Travel next. So now we're just like skipping every second one, basically.
How many colors are in that one?
Oh, hang tight. Okay, so see the word blessed, and it's using the dots, right? Look what's up in the sunflower.
Oh, okay.
Weeds.
Sweet.
All right. So we're just going to go into this loop here, drop down on a diagonal, and do this one here. And now we're going to just skip every second one. So we're going to go on a diagonal. We're going to skip one. Oh, shit. Look at that. See what I did? It's not even on a diagonal. I was like wondering why I was skipping over so much. That's why I was hesitant. Goof troop.
Bleeper.
Bleeper. Bleep it out. Oh well, shit happens.
Poop occurs.
Yep. Okay, so let's go in a diagonal time now, Rubes. Do it the right way. So there's one. There's.
Get my iron out and make a grilled cheese.
With an iron?
Yeah.
I bet it works.
Benny and June did it.
Did you ever try that before?
No.
Oh. Okay. So there's my 4 across. So now we're just going to go back on a diagonal and finish off those stitches. And before I carry on, let's go see what our next row is. And now we're going to go right in the corner again. So we're going to go right back on the next row, back in the corner, and finish off our 4 stitches so you can see them. Now you're going to do the same thing. Just skip along here. Skip one, right?
Mm.
We're on the third row. We're skipping every second one. Yeah. So it's every second one. Did I knot this? I think I did. There we go. Unknotted. So I kind of turn my Aida cloth this way because I'm working in this direction. So I just turn it to where I'm comfortable, go into that hole, and then just go on a diagonal. Down and into that hole there. Here, skipping that one hole. So you can see the little holes in between here. Those are the ones I'm skipping. See? Here, and I should end up back in the corner. Oops. That kind of split. There we go. All right, and then we're going to go here, straight down, and now we're going to go back. So now I could work normally again. So we're going to go here, here, and we're going to finish these off. So easy to do, guys. So easy. Now when we do our stitching, we have to go down and this way. So you see we did the 3 here. See, 1, 2, 3. Now we got to drop down into this one below it. Okay. So we're going to just put our needle on an angle, and drop down in the skipping that very first stitch, first block. And now we're going to do every second stitch on this way again. Skipping one hole in between makes it a lot easier to see. And then we'll do this here because there's nothing going in that side. So we're going to end it there, end our row, and we just come straight up. And I could see the wax. So we're going to go back on the diagonal. Trying not to split my threads in those holes. And now we can see our pattern. Now we need to go back in this corner. So we'll just go here, go on a diagonal, and you always got to watch where your next stitch is off of your row so you know which way to travel and which way to put your needle so you're not constantly pulling it in, going down, going up, those kinds of things. And basically we're just repeating, we're mirroring now what we did up here. So we're just going to go across here on a diagonal and skipping one hole. So here, here. So here, skipping a hole. You're going in every second hole. There's 2. My poor little girl is so congested. I could just hear her breathing. I don't know if you guys can hear her. And now we should be in the last one in the corner here, in the right hole. That's annoying catching it. So now you're going to go up in the corner and go straight down, because now we're going to travel back. So you still made your cross stitch. That left quite a bit of residue on mine. There we go. Okay, so in this hole, and now we're going to go back into the holes that we skipped. There. And we're just traveling back. And we're going into the holes that we skipped. And then we'll go into this hole. And let me just check now. We're going to go straight down. Wait. No. Hang on. Where am I here? I still have 2 rows to do. Okay, so we have to skip. We're going to go down 1 and over 1. So we're going to do exactly what we did here. So now we're only going to have 4 stitches. So skipping 1 hole and going on a diagonal. And I will show you the back of my work. It's still very nice and neat. Not at the moment crafting ribbon. In here. And all right. So we're just going to finish off by going straight down now because we're going to travel back and we're going to go into the holes that we skipped right here. 1, 2, 3. And now our next row is back in this corner. So you know you did it right. There. And now we're going to travel back this way, skipping 1. There's 1. Did you get yourself something to eat? Oh, whoa. Look at that big skip. Missed a hole. So this is going to happen quite frequently. I'm not the only one that does this. I know I'm not. But it's easier for me to just pull my needle off and rethread it than it is to try and go back into those holes with your needle. Because you're 9 times out of 10, you're going to snag threads in the back of your work. And you're going to have a disaster. And you're going to wish you didn't do that. Unless it was a completely empty hole, and up here was not an empty hole. There, I was sharing the hole with the other cross stitches. So, yeah, we won't do that anytime soon.
So says, hey guys, please pray for me. After Ruby's show, I have to scrub floors. It's killing me.
Look at how pretty that is, that sunflower. Isn't that gorgeous?
Cute, cute, cute.
Yeah, we're going to pray for you for sure. I would just say to hell with the scrubbing floors and go pull out your cross stitching. That's what I would say. There's 1. There's 2.
Or you could sing
3.
1 floor at a time, sweet Jesus.
Okay, so now we have to make sure we go in that one, and that one, and that will end our brown that we don't have to use anymore on this sunflower. So we're going to come up in this corner hole that we're sharing with all the other cross stitches. And we're going to do 1 hole at a time, sweet Jesus. We're getting her. We're going to get her done. And I'm going to make Martha wait right to the last minute. To see these beads in action. Whoopsies. I almost just made a wrong maneuver.
Yeah, scrubbing is such sweet sorrow.
Yes, it is. That's against the law. All right, back down in our corner and our final destination.
Also helps if you get a mop. It takes you, less time.
What do you guys think so far? Hi. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. Okay, my thread's in my way. All right, so I need to skip one and I can't see where it is. There, and I need to be over here. Oops. Yep, right there. I need to be right there. What is so funny?
So says, well, Gracie put scrubbing is such sweet sorrow. You can always do it tomorrow. She says, yeah, that's what I said yesterday, and it works.
Yeah, it sure does. Okie doke. We are done. Now we'll tie off our brown.
Hi, Kathy.
Look at that. Sweet.
Good morning.
Oopsies, I screwed up. I can see what I did right here. I went way too far over. I went in between that next cross stitch in the yellow. Hey, Kathy Hall. How are you, hon? Ruby does it all. I do whatever I can. Once I get bored, I move along to something else. It's just the way I am. And then I'll go back to it. All right, so make sure you drop it into the right hole, like so. There we go. All the brown's done. So now we're going to turn it over. The back looks just like the front. All right, so we're going to go below in the yellow stitches here, and I'm going to just pick up 3 stitches here, and then I'm going to tie it off. Oops, I almost had a thing. So pull it down, and then I go in here. I split the stitches there, threads there, and I split them there, and I run that way. But I usually like to run back through here, so I'm going to just do that quickly and cut and tie it off. And that's it for the brown. Now, this calls for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 stitches of black. So now we're going to put some black on it. And then we're going to put up the beads on it. Hi. The beading is fun.
Yep.
So we just want one little strand of black. And where's my needle? Probably should have ran it through the conditioner first, but oh well. Okay, so I'm going to put this back.
I heard a lot of people like that steam mop. Yeah, baseboards. They're a pain in the butt.
Yep. Okay. Where is my black? I don't know. Kiki, shut up. It's like, no, make me. All right, thread condition. Get this wax off, wax on, wax off, wax on. So now our first stitch, our first row. So we're going to be doing every second row of the black. So we're going to go into the second row of the brown. So you're not going to do the first row. You're going to come up in that one there. You're going to pull that through carefully. You're going to drop down behind because we need to secure a thread. Pull that. Go through the loop-de-loop and just secure your thread. Okay? So now we're going to come up in this one. And we're just going to skip. Tiki Peaky, shut up.
It's a sunflower, so it's not a sun, it's a sunflower.
Sometimes it's a little hard to come up between your threads without snagging them. Oh, for Pete's sakes, I did it again. We don't want to stitch up and down. We need to go on a diagonal, Rubes. And sometimes I find the needle bends because I'm putting pressure on it to put it between my fingers and get it threaded. Sometimes, and most of the time, that's the best way to thread beading needles because the hole is so small. So we want to go here and up through here. Here we go. Okay, so there's our block in there. I mean, this is a really pretty sunflower. So now we're going to come up between those two. Carry on with that. Between those two. And then we're going to go to the second row below. It's every second one. So we just done these three. Now we're going to skip a row and go down to the next row.
Morning, Kathleen.
Hi, Kathleen. And that's what that looks like. Okay, so now we're just going to go here.
Oh, she's out of power because of the storms.
Oh, no. So there's one stitch. Got to get my thread out of the way. And dark thread is really hard to work with at night.
Yeah, you need to save your phone battery, sweetie, in case you need an emergency call. We're supposed to be getting some more storming today. I'm gonna go look again. We had a hellacious one yesterday. It flash flooded in like 10 minutes.
Wow, really?
That's how hard it rained.
Holy crap.
I don't see any clouds real close to us right now.
Okay. So now we're going to travel back between stitches and holes.
Okay, Kathleen, be careful.
Be safe, Kathleen. So now we're going to go all the way to the second row down. Oops. Oopsies, I think I skipped too many rows. Yes, I did. So I got to pull this out. Pull
I
this.
like sunflower seeds. Yes, they are tasty.
Pull that out.
I like them on salads too.
Oh, I love sunflower seeds on salads. I went one row too many. So very easily to do. So you're going to skip this row and we're going to go to this row. I went one row below that, right? Yes, that's where it should be. Yes, above the brown. So there we go. So far, so good. Here we go. Keep your thread up. Travel here.
So says, oh, yum, now I'm hungry.
I guess you don't get to eat till you scrub floors.
Yeah. Can't have no pudding until you finish your floors.
Okay. There. Okay, now we'll travel back. And this is the quicker of the stitching. It's traveling back. Oopsies, sorry guys. Oh, jeez. Like you gotta kind of keep every speck of Ada cloth rolled up and away from you. Now we're gonna go to the last row of the block and we're gonna do these 4 stitches. Actually 3. There's 1. There's 2.
And free.
And done for 3. Now we'll travel back. And then we get the moment Martha's been waiting for.
Yay, because I am really tired.
All right. So there, the little checkerboard.
It's so cute.
Gotta warm up that wax with my fingers to melt it. Anyway, there it is. So now we will tie this up.
There is no back stitching on that yellow, is there?
There's no back stitching anywhere in this pattern.
Oh.
So I'm going to just take a couple of stitches, split my stitches to secure it, and then I'm just going to go stitch back a bit. So I don't snag on everything. Okay. And that completes that. Look at this. How pretty. Gonna even look more pretty now when we add our beads. So I really don't need my pattern. I do need to empty some beads out.
These beads are made strictly for cross stitching.
Yes, these are Mill Hill beads. Now we're gonna need a size 12 beading needle because I thought these were super tiny, but they're really not. They're really not. Oh well, we're using a 12. It's a tulip beading needle too, so it's not supposed to bend. Now we're going to use this color thread because this was originally the color I was going to use. And we're only going to use 1 strand. And we're
One
not.
thing I like about cross stitches too is French knots. It really makes a good detail.
Yes. So for this, we're not going to double our thread. You do not need to do that. And this is going to be really fun to thread. I should have the needle bent before I get the thread in. Yep, the hole is so tiny. I might even go get my size 10 beading needles and see the hell with this.
You can do it. Just wet it with your lips.
But the hole is so small. All right. Cut a piece off. kind of frayed there.
I always thread mine with my fingers. I have to have my thread between my fingers to thread a needle. I don't know why. I'll quit getting on there.
Oh, I thought I'd had it, but no, I split it instead.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not going to piss around with this. Maybe I'm going to get a needle threader.
That's what I was going to say. You always use a needle threader if you can't get it threaded.
I don't even think the needle thread is going to fit through this stupid tiny hole. Okay, we'll try it.
Does embroidery floss come in single strands? No, it comes in like 6 strands.
Yeah, embroidery floss is always 6 strands.
And you have to pull each strand out so it unravels. Sometimes cross stitching, it'll call for 3 strands of thread. Sometimes maybe even 4.
Yeah, I don't
That's
ever see
rare.
that too often ever. Really. Look how small that hole is. I can't even pull the thread through it. Crap. I'm going to get a different needle for sure. Okay. Now, we have to secure a thread the same way. I'm going to move my beads out of my way. I don't want to send them flying everywhere. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through the backs of this with the beading needle. Pull that in.
And if you're using a small enough embroidery needle, your beads should be able to go through it.
Well, that needle I have, there's no way that'll pick up those beads.
Yeah.
So remember, you only have 1 strand of thread. So see how I messed up my beads? I knew that was going to happen. So now, the fun part is coming up with this pointy needle through the back of my work. Now we're going to pick up a bead and we're going to cross stitch with it. Same way. I think I'm going to cut this off and file it because it's too pointy. And yeah, because it's going to snag when I go to cross stitch this bead on. Go in that hole. Come up.
Sometimes it's just better to go from the front to the back, from the front to the back.
Oh, I'll take all day doing it that way. If I go and break this needle off, it's thin enough. I don't need this thin of a needle because it splits. Yeah. So this is going on exactly how you cross stitch it. Now we're going to pick up another bead. If I could see them. Yeah, well, I don't need this small of a needle. Let me see if my needle will fit through these fat beads. No, the eye is too big. Damn it. That's the reason you need beading needles. So now you're going to go down. Now you're going to come up the same way you would if you were cross stitching. Now you're going to go.
Oh. I never do that. I just go one direction.
You don't double cross stitch them?
No.
To sit straight? No? Well, they'll be on an angle then.
Well, that's where you're supposed to be, is on an angle.
I don't know. Well, let me see how that looks. I don't know.
I only go one direction.
I just don't think that one thread is secure enough. So maybe 2 threads and a bigger needle.
Just go back through it all the way you went before.
Now I'm going to change needles. I don't like this needle. And I don't like how it's performing. And I'm not going to be able to get that thread out, that's for sure. Where is it? Where are we up here? It's so damn tiny I can't even see it.
If it's already in there, leave it.
No, it's sticking out right here.
Oh,
There, I pulled it out. Okay.
we're losing focus. There's something laying on the bottom of the phone.
Oh, my phone fell. Ooh, the tape let go. Oops. Don't want to hear this. Oopsies. Got too warm, maybe? Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. I got tape holding my phone up on my magnifying glass. Okay, so we're gonna go get a different needle, and I'm going to, if it's going to be another beading needle, but only I'm going to use double strands. We'll do it one way, like Martha does. Ooh, look at that! Even that needle, look, it cut my thread.
Ooh.
The eye is so tiny.
Yep.
Yeah, these tulip beads are only good for actual beading. Let's see what I can do in terms of getting a beading needle.
Or even maybe a really tiny, just even a real sewing needle. Some of them are big though too.
That thread's all cut up from that needle. So anyway.
Another intermission, people.
Yeah, give me a moment.
Get up and get your lattes, your popcorn, your peanuts. Hit the outhouse.
Okay, we've got something happening here. Oopsies. How do you like that? A shelf. Oh, where's my husband when I need him?
Get try Velcro. Maybe a Velcro will go around it.
No, that's not what happened.
Okay.
From me moving it around so much, it came right off the desk.
Okay.
Yeah. So I gotta fix that now.
Oh man.
Maybe.
My ear's on fire.
Retape my phone too. Yeah. I did it, boo-boos. Okay.
There's the famous couch, people.
Yep. I need to put this back on. Ooh, I didn't even put this on tight. No wonder it came off. Dorks are us. Here. Now, beading needle time. Damn it. Who did it?
I'm watching Ruby and my hummingbirds while listening to Ruby and the Senate hearing. My hubby on 80s music going on in the background. Watching Ruby crossing. My eyes are on the screen, watching intensely. While half of me is bobbing to the 80s. Right on, baby. Right on to the 80s. Uh huh. Uh huh. I think the 80s had great music. Late 70s or in the 80s. Every now and then I put it on my TV on the 80s. Bebopping. Bebopping. I'm so tired. She's doing the butt chair wiggling. Uh huh, uh huh, uh huh, uh huh, uh huh. Chair dancing. Chair dancing. I have a. I've been cross stitching for many, many years. I love cross stitch. It's like my first craft that I very much enjoy doing. But I have a home interior white wicker frame, the one that's got the little blue flowers in it. And I really want to do a snow leopard to put in the middle of it. But I've got one pattern and it's too small, so I'm going to have to double or quadruple the squares somehow to make it big enough to look good in the middle of that picture frame. Someday I'll start it. My daughter thinks I am dying for the loo. 80s was a decade of the one-hit wonders. Yeah, I believe that. Great stuff, yeah, but chair wiggle. Chair dancing. Oh, man. Movie's over. Oh, what we got now? Redemption. Chooses a new identity, becomes a vigilante, and a bed alone for his sins. Then skyscraper.
I cut it down, and now I'm going to file it. And I think I'm going to use Fireline, but I'm going for a smoke. But see this? I dulled the end because that way, if I file it with this nail file, I'm not going to have a sharp point, right? And I'm going to use Fireline since it's clear and it's stronger. I think it'll look nicer without having a color going through those gold beads. That's what I think. Where's my parcel?
Battle of the Smithsonian. Yeah, why not? The World's End. Oh, the pub crawl. Yeah, duh.
Time to warm up the coffee.
Hello, Tiki. 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 Hello, Tiki. Pretty bird. Pretty bird. Oh. That's with you. Same movies, different day.
I made this way too hot. Tiki, you seriously need to shut your yap. I'm munching on some roast.
On some what?
Roast.
Oh, I thought you said rose.
Mm-mm.
It's like, what flavor petals do you have today?
Roast beef. Or no, roast pork. All right. And Tiana's trying to get it, bitch. Oh,
Can't wait to make a roast. Lots and lots of carrots. Maybe a couple onions. I love roasted carrots. Love candied carrots.
I just don't want this to snag the threads.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what really fine. It's gonna be really fine.
Very pointy right there. Thank God for steel nail files.
Diamond dust.
You can see it's super pointy right there. And that's where I cut it. Get it good. So very short.
Another way you can do the beads too is you do your one stitch from your left to your right, and then you add your bead on top of it, which also
down.
covers your square.
Yeah. There, that's starting to.
So pretty much you're doing it backwards.
Just getting rid of the nibs. There we go.
And your phone dropped again.
Jeez. Damn it. I don't know.
There.
I know. did I do with the tape? I think I put it back in my room. It's probably going to fall again. So, third line. Tiki! Shut up! Go chill out for a while. Go eat. Okay, I don't really eat that big of a piece because it's honestly not that big of an area.
He says, I miss my window. I want to be back in front of the window again.
He is in front of the window. He's just off to the side, but he could see clearly out it. He just wants to be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Just wants to be noisy. He wants to be heard today. All right. We're threaded.
Gracie wants to know if you still have Miku.
No, I do not, Gracie. Miku was rehomed on July the 2nd. Or August 2nd, sorry, not July. Okay, so let's start all over again. I'm going to go back through some stitches with my dull needle, thank God. And this one here, I am going to have to knot it with a surgeon's knot because this will slide right out. So I'm doing a knot right on top of the cross stitches. Okay. Now we will bring this needle up through this dull needle, which I'm thankful for. Thank you. Okay. Let's pick up a bead. And let's pretend we're just doing the exact same thing, only we're adding beads. Let's fold you over. So one pass with a bead. Martha said only one. That way they all stay diagonal.
Yep.
So that is super cute.
Yep.
Now this needle between those stitches there. Pick up a bead. Down in this hole here. Come up in this hole here. Might be just as quick to go in and out.
Yeah. Especially when you got a lot of threads in the corner.
Yes. So we're just going to go down. I won't have to do this when I do the blessed. But this is what takes forever. It's finding that damn hole. But you'll get it eventually. Oh my gosh, that looks so cute.
Mm-hmm.
I kid you not. And you could pull this tight because this thread will not break. Again, it's Fireline. And
4 pound.
Nope, 6 pound.
Oh, baby girl.
Oh my gosh, that is adorable. It gives it a whole different dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Martha does too.
Martha does too. What?
Love it.
Uh-huh.
Now it's just finding these holes from the back. In an area like this, would suggest what Martha said, one stitch at a time. When it's on the open area, it'll be a lot easier for me now, because once I complete this, I can start on the blessed. And then I could just do my regular stitching. So you can use any size beads. These are size 11s. They're actually really pretty beads, to be honest. Mill Hill has nice beads. Now I don't know if they're check ones or if they're precios or what they are, but they're very consistent in size. So it's probably a Toho because it's a bigger than a Miyuki bead. So I would assume it's a Toho. I cannot get over how gorgeous that looks. Look at. What do you guys think?
The way they're supposed to be. Yay, it looks gorgeous.
So try not to pull too tight at the back here, because see, I did not go under threads here, but this is just fire line. If you pull this really tight, you're going to squish your cross stitching.
You're going to distort it.
Yes, so try not to pull it tight. Keep flattening it.
They're made for the size of Ada cloth. Actually, for 14 Ada.
What?
The beads, the seeds. The seed beads.
These ones here are, look how much, $1.25. That was, Jeff looked it up online for these, and he looked up the number, Mill Hill 02011, and they're still roughly the same price. So that's the number that I'm using, is 02011. These are made by which Imports, which is Mill Hill. I don't know where Mill Hill is. Where is Mill Hill? It just says Wisconsin. But anyways, you can go to millhill.com and get any bead you want. This gives, Gracie, this gives your cross stitch a lot of dimension. And I mean, when I'm done this and got the word blessed all done, it's going to show, it's going to look amazing. Now I could change this up, and instead of doing green leaves, I should go get some green seed beads and make the green seed beads. Green leaves with the seed beads.
That would be cute.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to turn the whole thing into beads because I do like the look of the cross stitch. I think I'll just stick with the blessed. This is super pretty. I can't even stress how gorgeous I love it. In real life, it looks amazing. So now my sunflower is complete with the Mill Hill beads on it. I highly recommend, if you're going to put beads, use Mill Hill. Yes, the beads are. So look, the whole sunflower is complete. And it's got the dimension on it. So when this is hanging up on the wall, any way the light looks at this, it's going to get that dimension. It actually looks like a sunflower. It's really cool. Okay, so we're going to tie this off. Martha, should I? I'm just going to go under stitches here. Oh, Martha left. We lost Martha, guys. I hope she comes back. So I'm kind of messing up my back here a little bit with this. Got booted. Time for that nap. Okay, Martha. Hope you feel better. I can't stand when my friends are sick. And she was sick. She started getting sick last night. Okay, so the back's not too bad. I mean, it's a clear thread. It's not too shabby. Looks pretty darn good. Should I go get green seed beads and make the leaves with green seed beads? I need your guys' opinion. Got to feed fur babies. So there we go. Now, let's put this away because I'm not going to be using this. I'm going to stick with just using the fire line because I just think the fire line makes it look so much better. Oopsies. All right. Dang it. There. Let's see. I'm going to skip this part for now, but now I'm going to work on starting up here, right here. So I need to go. I got to start counting. But first of all, let me check how much threads on my needle. It's enough to get me started. Okay, so let's count. A little bit sandy, I think. So where we need to start our blessed is up here. So on this row here, where it's the last big row. So on this row here, we need to count over 10. This is 10 blocks here. We need to count 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So I'm going to count 21 stitches from here and start my blessed. So let's open this up. Let's move our beads. And let's count 21 stitches. I'm going to turn it this way. So I can count 21 from this row here, right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, and I'm going to adjust. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Now, what I like to do is double check. So I'm going to just take another needle and I'm going to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yep, and I am in the right hole right there. So I need to pinch that off and I need to bring my needle up. And now I'm not going to be able to tie this off just yet. As you can see, I have a loose thread here. I'm just going to have to hold it for now. So when I put a first bead on, I'm going to hold it like this. Oops, I'm going to give myself a little longer tail. And I'm going to put my first bead on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why did I only count 20? So this is going to give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 21. I'm double checking with my lineup. I'm in the right place. All right. So we have to put 2 beads on. So now we're going to start spelling blessed. So now that I don't have any other, are these going side by side? Yes, they are. So there's one. And I'm holding my tail because I don't want that to come through. And now I'm going to go back down here. And now the next row is, I think it's one row over. Yep, it's one row over. So I'm going to cross over here. I'm going to drop down one. But this time I want to catch my tail. See here? Drop this row down. Pull it up. Where am I coming out with my needle? So right here, I'm going to tie a little knot around. I need to secure this if it's the last thing I do. There we go. Now I feel better. Now I don't have to worry about holding on to it. Okay, so we're going to pick up a needle or a bead. Those two are there. We're going to drop down. We're going to slide over and find that next hole up here. Because now I can put these on nice and snug. Okay. And drop that down. So there's part of the blessed. Now, we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to put one below each of those beads there. So we're just going to come right up in the next hole right below that bead. And we're going to put it on. Pulling it nice and taut so that this bead tightens up. And if you find it's loose, pull this bead and pull that. And then just hold it. And put this up here. Grab a bead. Drop down. And there's our third row of beads. See? Okay. Now, we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beads. Well, really, I should have went straight across. I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3 holes on this row here. I'm really sorry about that. Now, this is up. Okay, hang on. I should have went straight across, so I have to go back up on that line there, and that's fine. But I'm going to skip 3. 1, 2, 3. Go up, back up in here, and we're going to put how many beads on? We're going to put 2, and I'm going to be skipping lots with this thread, this fire line. So there's 1. There's 2. Okay. It doesn't look like much right now. Bye, Gracie. Have a great day. All right. So I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4 holes and put a bead there. So you can see this fire line don't really matter. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put a bead here. Now, so we're going to work back now. So we're going to drop down. Instead of starting from the right, I'm going to drop down 1, whoops, and over 1. Pick up a bead, put it here, and then how many do I need to put on here? I need to skip 1. What am I doing? I'm on my second hole. Skip 1 and go back. Okay. Skip this. And then the next one, we're going to go over 1, so I'm going to skip 2 holes. So I'm going to skip 1, 2, and I'm going to drop down into that hole there. Okay. Pick up the bead. Now we're going to put 1 here, and I'm going to skip 2 holes, I believe it is. Where Tia's coughing. Yep, 2 holes. And then we should be even with the where I left off. See, it doesn't look like much right now because I don't have very much of it done. Okay, I'm going to just hold this up. So now the next one, I'm going to skip and go all the way to here and come up there, and then I'm going to work across and go back and forth. But you have to put your beads on in the same direction all the time. So let's do 5 beads now. Oh my God, my dog is so congested. There's 2. This needle sucks. There's 3. There's 4. I'm just going to drop down and come up where I need to be next, which is right below this bead here and this hole here. There. I'm going to find a better way to file this needle because it's still got sharp nibs of glass on it. And then we're just going to carry on here. And we're going to come up in this hole here. Like so. It doesn't look like much right now, but give it time and it will look like a beautiful cross stitch. There's 1. And I'm going to be skipping this one here. It's just going to be 2 beads on this letter here that I'm working on, which is the L. And we're just going to drop right back down into that hole. So there we go so far. What do you guys think? All right, got another bead. And I gotta find a better needle, guys. I really do. This really sucks. Now for this one here, we've got these two here. We're going to skip one. So we're going to go here. And now we're only going to skip one bead or one spot. And then we're going to put another bead right here. If it will go into that dang hole. And then we need, yeah, see, this is, to me, putting these one way. Look at that. They got like a some kind of sheen to them. And this gold stands out nice on this. So we have this. So am I skipping to this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Okay, so we're going to go here. All the way to here. And then pick up a bead. And we're going to skip 2. And we're going to put one here. And then we're going to put one here. And then we're going to drop straight down. And then we're going to go down 1 and over 2. So down 1 over 2, because I got to put 2 beads here. It's finding that hole with this stupid broken needle. Wow, Tiki, you have really been really nerve-wracking today. Yeah. Get out of there. Okay, so that has completed that. Actually, I don't know, guys, it's kind of hard to see with these beads being on an angle. That is this part here, right across. That's this loop here, right across here. Doesn't really look like much, but I guess it'll take its shape once I get more beads on it. I really think I probably should have used smaller beads because these look really big. I don't know. They take up like the whole square. Anyway, that's all I can do for now. I got a few things I need to get done because I got to take Tia to the vet at 3:20. And I promise not to touch this. I'll work on this with you guys. I love this tea dyed 8 o'clock. I really, really love it. And plus my phone just keeps falling. I gotta find a better way to secure it. I may even change my mind about these gold beads, and I might put some other kind, like a 50 maybe in here. Yeah, because these are way too plump and big. I mean, I can't even make out what that is. I might change it. We'll see. But I do have to go, my guys. I'm so sorry. But it is getting to be. I got a few things to do, an errand to run, and take my dog to the vet. She has got to go. I made an emergency vet phone call for her, and they're charging me through the hills for an emergency visit. I have to pay $100 for the visit, $55 because it was an emergency, and on top of that, whatever I have to pay for the examination or the medication and whatever tests they have to do. So, but it's got to get done because this poor dog is very congested, and I can't stand when my dogs are not well. I may take this all out, not this, just the beads, and I may redo it with a smaller bead. That's the only thing I might do different. Hi, Cindy. So that's because these seem too big, and I think it's going to distort the writing. If you look, it's already distorting it. I don't like that. So I'll try a smaller bead. I think it'll look better, and that will come off real easy with the firelight. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'll be doing, but I'm sure you guys will find out. God bless everyone. Take care. Bye, everyone.